going to get ready to paint your Japanese bridge painting. And we're going to do what I call a paint along, where I paint a part and then you go back to your seats and try it out. And then you come back and I'll show you the next step. So the first thing we're starting with is the water. And we're going to do a technique which is called wet on wet. So to start, you need a wet paper. But you're only going to paint inside the water of your picture in the pond. So paint the pond with water. Then you are going to take the watercolor paints of blue and you're going to get your brush wet and tickle the blue paint. And you're going to paint, and because only inside here has dip it in water, tickle your paint, and because this part has the water, it only pretty much the watercolor paints will go only in the water part. So you get them wet, and then we're going to add something special. We're going to take some of this sea salt and we're going to sprinkle it in, and what's going to happen is the salt crystals are going to suck up the color. And next week when we have art, you'll brush off the extra salt and you'll have a really cool design in the water. So review, we're going to paint the water with just water on our brush, so it's wet. Then we take the blue paints and we dip our brush in the water, tickle the paint, wipe it. Dip our brush in the water, tickle the paint, and then paint it in. When you're done, come on back over the rug and I'll show you the next step. So the next thing we're going to paint is the sky, and we're going to start out wet on wet again. So you're going to get your brush wet and you're going to paint all of the sky, even the bridge, because we're going to do wet on wet. And no, grass is not sky. You're going to go wet on wet all the way to the grass, all the way to the line where the water is, and back up. This is the horizon line. You're going to paint it all the way to the horizon line. That's the line where it looks like the sky touches the earth, or it looks like it touches water. So we're painting all of this part of the paper with water. And then we're going to use a special kind of watercolor paint that I have today. And it is a little bit liquidy, and it has sparkle in it. So you're going to dip your brush. You're going to tickle the paint. Bless you. And then you're going to paint it. But this is real important because this is already a little bit wet. You must make sure you dip it in water each time, or it will come out too dark. It will come out too dark and you won't be able to see your bridge drawing. It would be so much easier for us to be able to paint the whole sky and see the bridge, so next week we could paint the bridge instead of trying to paint sky, bless you, paint sky around our bridge. So we're going to paint the whole thing with our blue paint right over the bridge, all the way to the edges of your paper.
What's the sparkles?
You'll see them when you, yeah, it doesn't pick it up very well on the camera, but when you see it in real life, you will see it is sparkly. Sometimes if you just have little white spots and you just dip your brush in water, you can move the paint around. When it dries, you see the sparkles a little better, okay? So we're painting just our sky, and we are using wet on wet again, all right? So back to your seats.